We're talking about a lateralized reverse shoulder replacement. We have a higher risk-reward benefit ratio potentially, meaning that I can get better external rotation, I can get better cosmesis if I lateralize my glenosphere. So for me, I'm always trying to lateralize as much as I can because I see the benefits of it, especially having performed medialized or Gaumont-style reverse replacements prior to this for a number of years. Fixation is the most important thing. I want to get a good 6.5 millimeter screw. And what I'll often do is after I drill my central pilot hole, I'll measure it from the posterior cortex versus the anterior cortex. If you look at the glenoid, it's shaped like a triangle. So even measuring it anterior to posterior gives you a different length. In addition, I personally try to add as many screws as I can to maximize my fixation. Bicortical superior inferior screws, and if I can get anterior posterior screws, I will. Having polyaxial screws where you can direct the screw into the bone that specific glenoid has. If I've done the base plate well, then the chances of it surviving are much better. The other technical factors, we do want to put the base plate with a little bit of inferior tilt. Biomechanical studies have showed that inferior tilt 0 to 15 degrees has improved compression forces versus shear forces. Certain systems have 10 degrees tilt built in. I think anywhere from 0 to 10 degrees is very acceptable. So if we've put the base plate low to improve range of motion, got our bicortical 6.5 millimeter screw bite, peripheral screws, polyaxial ideally, to get as much bone as we can, and then I don't hesitate to build the lateralization as much as I can. So that's the surgical techniques or ways to improve our base plate fixation to get that lateralization. The other thing is that the neck shaft angle that you cut the humeral head at is important. A vertical cut or a 135 degree cut is going to give you less notching than a 155 degree cut. If you have a 155 degree cut, the cut is relatively horizontal, and you can see just directly looking at it how it can hit the inferior scapular pillar and cause notching. A more vertical cut or a 135 degree cut won't cause as much notching. In fact, from a biomechanical computational model study, the vertical cut is the #1 factor as to prevent scapular notching. So just to show you, here's that ball, here's that socket, this is our reverse. If I have a vertical cut 135, you can see where my thumb is. I'm not going to hit the scapular, inferior scapular pillar. But if I do a 155 degree cut, you can see how it can kind of impinge a lot easier. So in summary, we've talked about how you can surgically or technically improve your RSA to get the best outcome. And by going through that history and understanding the biomechanics, I hope that you get a better sense of reverse shoulder replacements and why they're so popular and why they're so effective.